November of 2023, a woman named Laura experienced a chilling altercation while hiking on a trail in Sierra Madre, California. Laura, a fitness enthusiast, was following her daily morning routine and was thoroughly enjoying a brisk hike through the mountains with one of her friends. However, as she ran and passed a blind corner, she suddenly came face to face with a brown bear and its two cubs. Laura, attempting to remain as calm as she could, cautiously tried to retreat and move away, but the bear had already spotted her and was now starting to track her down. With the bear attempting to close in on her, Laura immediately started to back up and made loud noises, trying her best to scare off the bear. But despite her efforts, the bear didn't stop and continued following her.
Okay. All right. Got this. Fuck. Okay. There's nowhere to go. Fuck. They won't leave.
Even with Laura blowing her emergency whistle and screaming as loudly as she could, the bear remained unfazed and showed no signs of retreating. Realizing that her efforts were futile, Laura had no choice but to back up toward a blind corner and start running as fast as she could.
Leave. Okay, whistles don't work. There's bears.
I saw them.
Fortunately for Laura, she cautiously backed up toward a blind corner and immediately started running away, successfully managing to escape the bears and regroup with her friend. Although her choice to frantically run away from the bear could have been deemed risky and reckless, given that this could have potentially triggered the bear's predatory instincts to attack, and in such a situation, it would have been nearly impossible for her to outrun the 500-pound predator. However, in the end, the bear fortunately didn't choose to attack or chase her down, as it was likely focused on trying to protect and defend its cubs from any perceived threats. Ultimately, Laura's decision to run was indeed the right call and might have saved her life, preventing what could have been a potentially catastrophic outcome. The following footage was recorded by a man named Tommy Swader in May of 2012. In the video, Tommy, along with his dog Buffy, were kayaking near the embankment while fishing at Triplet Lake in Castleberry, Florida. His dog was sitting on his lap, and they had been peacefully kayaking in the lake for about 20 minutes. However, the situation quickly took a dramatic turn when he heard something moving near his kayak, and before he could even react, an alligator suddenly jumped out of the water and charged at him, causing his poor dog to fall into the water.
What the fuck? Fuck you, you fucking cocksucker!
As soon as Tommy heard the noise, the alligator lunged out of the water and jumped onto his kayak, barely missing his legs. This sudden impact unfortunately caused his dog Buffy to fall off the kayak and be thrown into the water where the gator was. Fortunately, Tommy immediately sprang into action and was able to grab onto her leash, successfully rescuing her from the water and the gator. With his dog out of danger and back in the kayak, Tommy began to paddle as fast as he could, and he fortunately didn't encounter anything similar again. Tommy estimated that the alligator was about 8 feet long. It had swum under his boat and wrapped around, allowing him to see its tail. He speculated that the gator was most likely after his poor dog Buffy. When he grabbed her out of the water and threw her into his lap, she was so scared by the impact that she curled up like a ball and didn't want to move until they reached the shore. In an interview with the Daily Mail, Tommy mentioned,
"It happened so quickly, I wasn't even sure what happened. All I felt was something hit me in the arm. My arm was throbbing, and I got thrown up on the side."
He also noted that he probably wouldn't return to that specific spot anytime soon. But despite the harrowing experience and the close call with the alligator, he would absolutely continue kayaking, as it wouldn't deter him from hitting the water and enjoying his beloved hobby. These right here are two YouTubers named Ted and Nick, who in October of 2022 uploaded a terrifying video titled "Scary Situation While Hunting" to their channel, The Hunting Public. Their channel primarily focuses on the diverse world of hunting, offering content that engages viewers through a mix of bow hunting, extensive hunting videos, and their podcasts. In this particular video, the duo along with their cameraman Greg ventured on a hunting trip deep into the wilderness of Missouri. They began their hunt in the early hours of the morning, but unfortunately found no success at their initial spot. Later that afternoon, they left and relocated to a remote public area. The trio then navigated the terrain and eventually climbed a tree around 7 p.m., setting up their gear and patiently waiting for their prey. However, the situation soon took a sinister turn when they began to hear loud screaming noises echoing through the woods. After hearing the screams originating from the woods, the trio, in a state of absolute shock, froze and listened intently, trying to comprehend whether it was actually a cry for help. Disturbingly, at one point, it even sounded like a man shouting, "I hate you," before he started screaming at the top of his lungs again. For the next several minutes, they remained on top of the tree, trying to figure out their next move, all while the noises continued and grew louder. However, their deepest fear soon became a reality when they started hearing the sound of gunshots coming from the same direction.
Obscenities to someone else. Right before that last gunshot, it sounded like a truck revving up or something, like in gravel, throwing gravel or something. Yeah. And then that gunshot was like, that one sounded like a rifle. All the other ones sounded like a handgun. But it was like blood-curdling screaming. I've never witnessed anybody screaming like that. Yeah. We would have ended up warping them on it. How close we would be to that.
We might have been able to see it. That's terrifying.
That is wicked.
Well, hopefully nobody got shot.
After hearing the screams and a series of gunshots, the trio began to suspect that someone might actually be shot, making it increasingly obvious that the person was likely screaming for his life. Realizing this, they immediately decided to call the local authorities, but they didn't have service that deep in the forest. They then decided to find the nearest house or any local residence where they could potentially call someone and get help.
Nick's looking up this house, the nearest house over there, so we can call somebody whenever we get out of here. We ain't got any service in here, so can't call the police and tell them to go over there and see what the heck's going on, but sounds like something off a dang horror movie over there. Pretty scary. Hoping nobody's getting killed or hurt over there. I mean, it sounds like a guy that's absolutely losing his mind over there. Completely. And maybe he shot somebody. So we're gonna go ahead and get down. We got like a mile and a half walk out of here. All that stuff is just like 800-900 yards away. We're gonna get on down and get on out of here.
Yes. I've heard some stuff that I feel needs to be reported to the police department. I was hunting, me and a buddy were hunting. We heard gunshots, but then for 30 minutes straight or so, there was lots of screaming and just people, obscenities, and it sounded like something really bad was going on over there, and there was 20 or more gunshots ended up happening, and then I could hear vehicles taking off. I have pins dropped on a map about how far we were from where we think this was occurring. We didn't know what to do, and we had no service, so we're trying to report and see if anything had been reported about there.
After getting out of the forest, the trio returned to their car and called the police to report everything they had witnessed that day. They later mentioned that the police immediately followed up and entered the woods to investigate. Unfortunately, the officers noted that they thoroughly searched the location but didn't find anything. The trio also reported that they contacted the sheriff's department and even the game warden, but none of them found anything during their investigation. Consequently, as of the time of this upload, the true source of the screams and gunshots remains a chilling mystery, and it's anyone's guess as to what sinister event might have transpired in the woods that day. If you've enjoyed the video so far, it would mean a lot if you considered subscribing. Over 95% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. Your support really helps the channel grow, and in return, I promise to keep bringing you guys the best quality content. Now let's get back to the video. In August of 2025, a YouTuber named Katie uploaded a video titled "Solo Camping Gone Wrong" to her channel, Katie Roams. Her channel is dedicated to outdoor exploration, and she frequently shares footage of her solo adventures camping and hiking across various terrains throughout Europe. In this particular video, Katie decided to embark on a solo overnight camping trip somewhere in the United Kingdom. As Katie began her exploration, she ventured deep into the woods to locate a suitable campsite. During her hike, she discovered a beautiful lake and decided to take a refreshing swim. After taking in the peaceful and quiet surroundings and thoroughly enjoying her time at the lake, she eventually decided to move on and continue her search for a place to spend the night. For the next 10 minutes, Katie continued hiking and eventually located a promising campsite. She then began setting up her tent and decided to craft a chair from nearby logs and branches that she found. Everything up to this point seemed to be going quite smoothly for Katie. She had enjoyed her time in the lake, managed to find the perfect campsite, and was now trying to practice her bushcraft skills in peace. However, as she was working on building the chair, that's when she started hearing some strange noises coming from the woods.
I can hear and smell a group of men. I can smell their cigarettes and I can hear them as well. I would be quite concerned if they came any closer. So I'm just going to leave my camera on in case, because if they come up, I'll be on the phone with my mum or something. I'll call my mum and just, fingers crossed they don't come. Well, I'm out here alone. They might be harmless, but it's better safe than sorry. So if you ever are in a situation like this, call someone. It's the best thing you can do. Oh, and maybe have a knife on hand. No, I'm joking about that last bit. Or am I? They're still not gone. I'm trying to be quiet because I don't want them to know I'm here. I am quite camouflaged. But I have seen them. If I can see them, they can most likely see me. Oh, I'm scared. It's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I don't know if you can hear that, but the scary men are now playing music and smoking cigarettes. Okay, if you're playing music on a speaker, loud, in a forest, which is very peaceful, and chain smoking cigarettes, you're not good vibes. If you can hear that, I'm sorry, because it's also ruining my time.
After noticing a group of people smoking and playing loud music near her campsite, Katie, like anyone else, began to feel anxious and concerned about their presence, especially considering that she was simply trying to have a peaceful trip in the woods and didn't want to be approached or disturbed by anyone. But despite the commotion and disturbances, Katie eventually decided to ignore them and continue building her chair, remaining optimistic and hoping the group would soon leave the forest. For the next several hours, she continued working on her campsite and even managed to prepare her meal. But unfortunately for her, even with the night starting to set in, the group still hadn't left, and they were still playing loud music and causing a disturbance.
Now that I've got my chair finished, I do believe it's time for some dinner. An update on the men. They are staying over there, probably about 50 meters away from me. They came over to say hello. They said they saw a light, which is this light. And they said hello, invited me for beers and for dinner. I said, no thank you. Yeah, hopefully all is good. I'm sure everything will be fine. First of all, I don't drink, so, I just said, sorry I don't drink, but, and I've had dinner already, which I haven't. I'm just making my dinner now. I don't really encounter people often. It's not a common occurrence. They're also still playing music, which is kind of annoying. Right, well, I'm in my bed now. Oh, I think I'm gonna head to bed. Definitely gonna need some earplugs because there are some idiots in the forest right now playing trance music at almost 10 o'clock.
Even at 10 p.m., the loud music and noises continued to grow louder. With no other choice remaining, Katie put in her earplugs and tried to fall asleep. However, despite her efforts, she found it nearly impossible to drift off, as the group was still up and causing all the commotion. By this point, it was approaching midnight, and Katie, realizing the group wasn't going to leave anytime soon, started to get anxious about her safety and began contemplating whether to spend the night there or simply leave. But given that she wouldn't get to sleep peacefully and also didn't feel safe with the group being there, she ultimately chose to cut her trip short and decided to pack her belongings and leave the forest.
Well, it is currently around midnight right now. I've just packed up my bag and my tent because I don't know if you can hear that, but the music is really loud. I don't feel safe here, so I'm gonna head back to the car now. I'll see you there. Well, I am back at the car. It is around 12:30, pushing on 1 a.m. right now. I'm really disappointed that I had to leave, but safety-wise, I'm very glad that I made the decision to leave. I do try and post 3 times a week, and things do go wrong sometimes. And I am going to show you because it is the reality of being a solo traveller or just being a solo camper and things like that. Things do go wrong and there's no support system out there. So it is okay to leave if you don't feel safe. If the energy isn't right, just leave. It's not hard, just pack up and go. I walked straight past them. I did not acknowledge them. I was like head down and off I went. I didn't want anything to do with it, so I just left. Hopefully the next adventure is a bit more successful.
Katie, with no other option but to leave, wisely packed up her tent and began walking past the group, heading straight for her camper van. She later noted that she didn't feel safe staying in her campsite and was relieved that she left and safely made it back to her vehicle. Although the group was most likely just trying to party and have a good time and probably didn't pose any real threat towards her, but in the end, Katie's decision to prematurely cut her trip short was likely the right call, as it allowed her to prioritize her safety and, most importantly, avoid the anxiety and sleepless night that the loud music would have undoubtedly caused if she had chosen to stay overnight.